Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anthony Greco. Today is the Multifamily Live Q&A session. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm glad you're all here. And we do these free webinars twice a month. And so we just like to come on and kind of give some content and value. So again, my name is Anthony Greco, and I'm the Multifamily Coach. So today we're going to spend about 30 minutes or so on the call today. So if you can just type in, if somebody can type in that you can hear me and see my screen, I would appreciate that. Yes? Can everyone hear me? Because the technology on these things sometimes. Uh, bu- 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 Can you type in if you can hear me today? Sorry, let's see here. Can everyone hear me? I just need somebody to type in that they can hear me. Bu- 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 bu. Let's see here. Um, okay, sorry. All right, sorry, I got it set up. So anyway, sorry about that, guys, but technology. Anyway, so I'm glad you came here today, and I'm hoping to help you today. So we got a lot of people here today. That's awesome. So can just type in kind of where you're from, just so I get an idea of the audience. But that'd be good. New York, great. Okay, Massachusetts, awesome. Florida, New York. Okay, so people from different places. All right. So let's get started. Okay. All right. So why multifamily? I'm not sure of your experience or if you're new in real estate or if you're already in real estate, but this topic is about multifamily. So why multifamily? There's many reasons, but the ones that I want to talk about today are cash flow, appreciation, depreciation, and amortization. And so I just want to give you a quick, 5 or 10 minute presentation, and then we'll go right into Q&A because that's what this is about. You putting your questions out there and getting them answered. So with multifamily, you can accomplish cash flow, your appreciation, depreciation, which is a great tax benefit, and amortization. So as you pay down your mortgage, your principal is paid down and it's adding to your value of your property, so you're increasing your returns. So we want to get more freedom and more time in our lives, right? I mean, most people say, "Well, I want more money." Well, who doesn't want more money? We all want more money, but that's not, that's not deep enough. And when I coach people, they tell me I want financial freedom. Okay, what does that mean? You got to go deeper. So more freedom and more time to be able to spend time with your family or travel or do whatever you want to do. And so I just kind of want to share with you, my personal experience, benefits of multifamily investing. So, my company is a national real estate investment company, and I also am a multifamily coach. So I do it on both ends. But what it allows me to do is I create the lifestyle that I want. Freedom of time. We spend winters in Florida and time with my family. As you can see, that's my little now 2.5-year-old son, and I can get to take him to places like here. It's an aquarium or a museum. I can bring him to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning. I can drop him off at daycare. I have the flexibility of doing that because while I'm doing that, my tenants are still paying rent. So you want to create that for your life. So you may be asking, well, who's Anthony Greco? I don't really know him. Why should you ask me questions? So that's me up there in a suit, but I don't wear a suit every day. But a little bit about myself. So I'm an entrepreneur since 1983. I'm a real estate broker in New York and Connecticut. Since 1983, I'm a broker. I'm a salesperson in California. I run a property management company in New York. Um, I've been a home builder, a land developer, a remodeler, done fix and flips, and I'm an accountant by trade. So I graduated college with a BBA in accounting a lot of years ago. And so, I do have a lot of experience in real estate, construction, remodeling, development, in the last 10 years focusing on multifamily properties and specifically out of state. So if you want to get more information, you can go to multifamilycoach.com. And we have free information that we put up there, free training videos, ebooks, and a lot of blog articles. So that's kind of a little bit about me and my experience. So if you want to jump right in, type your questions in, and I'd love to get them answered for you. So you put them in there, just type it in the box. No questions today? Okay, let's see. Yep, okay, we got one here. What are the tax benefits of multifamily investing? Okay, that's a great question. There's many, but the one I'm going to talk about is depreciation. And so there's different ways of investing in real estate. And when you invest in a fix and flip, there's a different tax treatment for that. Again, I'm not a CPA, so I'm not going to talk on that. But with multifamily, you have a 1031 exchange. You have depreciation, which is what I like the best. So depending on how your accountant structures your contract and does it, you can write off a property over a certain amount of years, and what that does is basically comes right off the bottom of your income. So you, with multifamily, and this is what I love, is that you're actually creating an income, you're getting money, and you have a positive flow, but at the end of the year, because of depreciation, you're not paying taxes. So you're basically deferring it. You're not paying taxes. You're deferring it to a future date. But then there's also the 1031 exchange when you go sell it, and you can keep deferring it. So just a lot of benefits with that one. So I hope that was helpful for you. Okay. Any other questions? Put your questions in there. Come on. We have a lot of questions. I'm hoping. I don't know if I can get to them all, but let's see here. How do you use your IRA to invest in real estate? That's a great question. So, most people actually don't know about this, but you can use what's called a self-directed IRA. And basically what that is you can take your existing IRA or your old 401k. And what you do is you work with a custodian and they set it up for you so you can transfer it with no penalties, just a small setup fee. And once you have that money from your regular IRA, which is pretty much in the market and you can't decide where to invest it, you put it into a self-directed IRA and you tell the custodian where to invest it. And real estate is one of them. So you can say to the custodian, I want you to put $50,000 into this investment. And what that allows you to do is you decide where your IRA money is invested. And you can increase your returns because we all know what the stock market is doing. And I'm not going to speak on the market because I'm not an expert on it. But Right now, if you're in an IRA, most of the investors I speak with or who are in our deals right now, they use their IRA to invest. They're telling me they're getting 3 to 6% in their IRA. Our deals are running between 10 and 20%. So you can increase your returns that way. So it's called a self-directed IRA. Pretty simple to set up, and that's a really it's a great way to diversify. Number one, but also increase your potential returns. Okay. Let's see here. Next question. How do I get started? What build? How keys to getting started? Okay. Um, well, okay. So there's many ways to go about this, right? But you know, my belief is that a foundation is needed. So when I'm talking to people who want to get involved in multifamily investing, they say to me, well, how do I go out and find deals? Show me how to figure out the numbers and whatnot. And that's all great. But the best way to get started is to learn and get educated. Get a coach, get a mentor, follow somebody that's been doing this, whatever, and educate yourself. So my, suggestions to my students is planning and goal setting. So you need to plan this out. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this? What are your goals? You know, uh, where do you want to buy properties? How many do you want to buy? How do you want to buy them? That's the best way to get started. And again, connecting with a mentor or a coach or somebody that's in the business that you can shadow or be an intern. That is the best way. Okay. Um, let's see. Man, there's a lot of questions here. These are all great questions. What's a syndication? Okay. So a syndication is pretty basically, I'm going to analyze compare it to a real estate investment trust. So a syndication is a company like myself, the Creco companies. So we'll go out and find deals. We're constantly looking at, probably 100+ deals a year that we're analyzing. We'll do the research. We'll may visit the properties, put the numbers together, put offers in, and we'll get the deal in contract, do the inspections, and at that point, once we're under contract, we pretty much present it to a potential investor on a silver platter. And what I mean by that is somebody who wants to passively invest in real estate. I mean, multifamily investing is passive, but it could be active and passive. So somebody who has a job, maybe a doctor, a lawyer, has money, doesn't have the time or the knowledge, but wants to put that money to work and increase their returns. And so the syndicator, also known as the sponsor, is the active managing member. You set up an LLC, you have an operating agreement. The managing member, which is the sponsor, has a percentage. The investors have a percentage, and that's all worked out depending on the deal and what the sponsor is offering. And pretty much the sponsor is the active managing member. He runs the property day to day, not the property itself per se. I mean, if it's a 100-unit property, we're going to hire a management company on site, and my company, what we'll do is we will manage the manager. So, we're on the phone with the manager. It depends on the stage of the property. If it's a heavy rehab, maybe every other day. If it's a stabilized property, maybe once a week, once every other week. So the syndication is basically, a real estate investment company putting the deal together, going out, raising private money from investors, and partnering up, setting up an LLC, and managing the whole property. Now, we do our properties anywhere between 2 and 5 years, depending on the class of property that we're buying and the amount of work that's needed, so that we can cash flow it, increase the value, and either keep it or cash out. So that's a syndication. I hope that answered your question. Okay, man, we got a lot of questions. I love this. This is great. Okay, how do you find deals? I mean, there's a lot of ways to find deals. Um, so you can go on LoopNet, you can go on Craigslist, you can go, on MLS. You just go on Google. Find multifamily properties in wherever you're looking. You can do direct mail. You can scout the area, drive by, send letters. Contact the owners. I mean, so many different ways. However, what I teach is start on LoopNet.com, and when you go to LoopNet, you look for properties in the market that you chose, and you're not necessarily looking for a property on LoopNet because LoopNet doesn't have good properties. LoopNet has the leftover properties. The good properties are, off market that brokers are, scouting out to their list. What you want to do on LoopNet is you want to connect with brokers. And so, I have found in my experience that the best way to find deals is connect with brokers on LoopNet, see, how active they are, what their knowledge of the area is, and build a relationship with them. And they'll start sending you off market deals in your email. That is, to me, the most effective way, in my experience, to find deals. Now, of course, there's many others, but that's the one that's worked for me so far. What are property classes? Okay, that's a good question. So with multifamily, you have 4 classes of property: A, B, C, and D. So an A class property is, new construction, luxury, high end, a clubhouse, pool, gym, tennis court, uh, you know, pretty much new construction within the last 5 years, 10 years. Class B is, maybe 15 years, 20 years. It's got some amenities, but it's a little outdated. It doesn't have 100% amenities, but it may have a pool and a gym, and maybe not a tennis court, maybe just a gym, but not a pool. Um, and a B class property is a good property to focus on. B and C. A C class property is 30, 40 years. It's older. It needs a little more work. Could need a substantial amount of work. It may not be in the greatest area, but it's not in a really bad, unsafe area. And that's a C class. So a B and C class is actually the most profitable. That's where you make your most cash flow. And we focus on B and C. And a D class property is, 40 plus years old, 50 years old, um, you know, uh, bad area, high crime, maybe it's drug infested, pit bull infested, and so really tough properties. We stay away from them. Uh, we don't like to get involved in those. So those are your typical classes of properties in multifamily. Let's see. Building a team. So somebody wants to know, how do you build a team? Okay, so building a team is really important in this business, and so you want to have a broker on your team, you want to have an accountant, you want to have an attorney, you want to have a property manager, you want to have a contractor. Uh, that's the main core of people you want to have in your team. And the way to build your team is, again, you start with the broker. Once you start connecting with brokers and building a relationship with them, meeting them on LoopNet, or taking a visit to a market that you want to invest in, and just calling brokers and meeting them and setting up times to see properties. That's a good start, because once you talk to a broker and they show you a property, you'll say to them, "Hey, can you refer me to a property manager?" And then you meet the property manager, and then you ask the property manager, "Hey, what about anybody for construction?" And typically, property management companies, they work with contractors. A lot of them do it themselves, and that's pretty much how you're going to build a team. If it's out of your market, if you're in your backyard, and you have other people in the business, then you can leverage off of maybe some deals you've done locally in your market. Um, and so that's the best way to build teams, is just to leverage off of all the different team members. Okay. Let's see. We got some, man, these are all great questions. Oh, man, I wish I could answer them all, but we got about 9 minutes left here. How to rehab. Okay. So if you're focusing on B and C properties, you're typically going to have some rehab. Now, the B property is going to have less rehab because it's newer, and the C property is going to have a little more rehab. So depending on the scope of the rehab, you got to cautiously go through this process. So obviously, the best way to do this is have a contractor who's experienced. I like to work with a general contractor, so I'm dealing with one person. And of course, during your inspection of the property before you close, you're going to have, an engineer, and he'll give you a detailed report. But the best way to do this is when you figure out who your contractor is going to be, you're going to get a detailed bid from him, and you're going to have him itemize everything, and you're going to stick to that. You're going to stick to the budget. You're going to stick to the numbers. And you want to do a rehab really quickly because you want to turn it around sooner than later. And so the way to do it is, stagger it. So, obviously you want to do vacant units first, and then as leases expire, and you want to get them up online with higher rents, you want to do those next. And typically, if it's out of market, like out of state, again, you want to have a weekly call with your contractor and pictures that he sends you to stay on top of the process. If it's a extended period of time that you're rehabbing, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you may want to go visit the property every 6 weeks just to kind of check up on the progress. So that's a quick how to rehab a property. But let's see here. Okay, man, we got a lot of questions. This is great. A couple of more that I can answer. All right, somebody wants to know how do I analyze a deal? Okay, well, of course, it depends on the complexity of the deal. I mean, if we're analyzing a 6-unit, it's a little less quicker and not as complex as a 100-unit deal, but we analyze our deals with a spreadsheet. So we've developed and created a spreadsheet, an Excel, that gives us all the information we need: the rent roll, the information on the property, the assumptions, the mortgage, the rehab cost, closing costs, any fees involved. And then we have a 5-year and a 10-year pro forma that we can project out and see what the property is going to do based on our projections. So, we'll take year one as we take over, and then we do a rent increase projection and a expense increase projection. And then that'll give us a kind of a timeline going out, like I said, 5 to 10 years, what the value of the property is going to be as time goes on, and what our cash flow is going to be. Now you can also, use the 50% rule, and basically what that is in a broad, quick, back of the napkin scenario is you get your total income for the property, including net of vacancies and lease loss delinquencies. And so let's say the broker tells you, hey, the net is 100 grand, and the expenses are 50 grand. They don't even have to tell you the expenses. I'm sorry. So whatever the income is, you take 50% of that for your expenses. That's a general rule of thumb. So on $100,000 property income, 50,000 is going to be expenses. You're going to be left with a 50,000, NOI after reserves. And then from there, you can figure out the value of the property based on cap rates in that particular market, compared to what they're asking, and then break it down to per unit. So that's a really quick way to look at a deal and say, hey, this seller is way off target with his price, so I'm not even going to waste time. But what you can do with that is that you can say to the broker, hey, listen, I did a quick analysis. It seems like this seller is way off, and am I going to waste my time if I come in at 500,000 less than what he's asking, based on my quick 50% rule analysis? Okay. Man, I only have time for one more question. And so let me see here. Property managers. Okay. How do you decide on a property manager? Yeah, that's a tough one. And I don't mean tough one to decide, but we're dealing with 1,500, 200 unit properties. And again, it goes back to, recommendations from a broker. There's, property manager websites that you can go on and, search and call them and ask them how many properties they manage or units. And it's vetting them out, interviewing them, speaking to them, asking them the right questions. And we've had deals where we had property managers, we interviewed them, and 3, 6, 9 months later, it didn't pan out. We've had properties that we have property managers on there for years, and we have some that we had to change. We're on our third manager in 2 years. So it is a process of elimination, but you do have to vet it out and do your due diligence as best as possible. Um, so that's all the time we have for questions. And so I hope this was helpful for you. If you want to, find out a little bit more about investing in real estate, multifamily specifically, you can go to multifamilystrategysession.com. You can get on the phone with me for like about 30 minutes. I'll coach you on, what you're looking to do. I'll give you some tips and I'll send you off with a plan that you can start implementing right away. So if you're interested in that, it's free. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm just going to give you a 30-minute coaching call. And I do have coaching if you're interested, but that's up to you. And so if you'd like to do that, multifamilystrategysession.com. And here is my contact information, the multifamilycoach.com. Anthony at the multifamilycoach.com. You can email me. And again, I hope that this was helpful for you. I do this twice a month, free Q&A. Come on and ask your questions. Again, I hope it was helpful for you. I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you on the next webinar. Take care now.